let's talk about Ken Goldin for a second. You know, we see Ken on he's been on this show, he's on other shows, he does his Instagram live now that he's really kind of committed to a Thursday night schedule. And so we, as the audience, the hobby, we see him that way. You work with him now. Is he the same guy at the office on a daily basis as he is when he's out in public?
There's only one. There's one Ken. Ken comes in one flavor and one speed, and it's like very intense. So yes, he's the same in the office. He's the same when you talk to him on the phone. He's the same, he's the same on Instagram Live. He's the same everywhere. So yeah, there's just one Ken. Look, he's definitely a pioneer of this industry in a lot of ways. He's the face of the industry, or he's a prominent face in this industry, and he cares very, very deeply about the success of the company. I mean, his name's on the door. I mean, I can't relate to that, right? I mean, if there's a company where literally your name is like on the door of the company, I mean, to me, like I think it would hit me the same way, that just to like the pride in that, and also the just like sort of obsession with making sure that everything being done is for the betterment of the company and moving the company forward. So he's involved in all facets of the company. He's definitely a very intense guy.
And so tell us a little bit about the show that's going to be starting to film in November, I think you mentioned. And before you do, so I was fortunate to actually, where you and I met, Sam, in person was at the National in August. After at the what has become I forget, the Goldin One of One dinner, I think it was labeled. Yeah. Is that right? And
yes,
and I ended up on the guest list. Very grateful for that. And at the end of the night, I approached you and introduced myself and talked about having on the show and this and that. But it was at that dinner where Ken, kind of after we had all eaten, he did give a bit of a speech, and he announced to the room that what the title of the show was going to be, when it was going to start filming, and who the executive producer was, and when it would actually start to air. Why don't you just, instead of meeting, why don't you take us through those details, and then I want to talk a bit about the excitement around it.
The show, it's called The Goldin Touch, and it essentially, is look at not just like Ken's life and the life of the business, but it really, each episode gets into the sort of the quest for a rare, piece of memorabilia or a rare card, or that item sort of showing up, at our office, in our warehouse, or being sort of presented to Ken, or presented to one of our consignment folks. It's being created by a company called Wheelhouse, which are famous for creating Pawn Stars. So you can kind of imagine the style, and those folks created that show and put it on the map and made it into the amazing success that it is. So they're definitely the right group to do something like this, and they've done a whole bunch of other stuff and sold shows to all kinds of different networks. It's being directed by Connor Shell, who I knew from my previous life, who was the head of content at ESPN. So and he left ESPN a few months ago, and he started his own thing that TCG invests in. But he's incredible. He created 30 for 30. I mean, he's just a pioneer in sports media. And so, he'll be involved. Peyton Manning is one of the executive producers, and Omaha Productions. So it's got basically as great a list of folks as you can have involved in this thing. And I'm really excited about it from, the perspective of the company. Obviously, it's great for our company, terrific for us, and gets our name out there and gets Ken out there and gets some of our employees out there. But I also think it's good for the hobby, because look, if you've got folks that, are just trying to find something to binge on, a potential platform, they, and they discover it, it very well may get somebody back into the hobby that, had forgotten about it, or just were sort of a little curious, and it may like reignite that in them. So I just think it'll be great to get more exposure for the hobby. So very excited. It films, I believe it starts filming sometime around November, December, and then the air date is TBD, but it'll be 2022.
Awesome. And are you expecting there to be like in Pawn Stars, they go into the gold and silver pawn shop and they do their filming right there. That is the set. Is the set going to be the current Goldin Auctions facility?
Yes, it will. So it'll take place in a few different places, but yes, there will be. They actually just did a site visit a week or two ago. So yes, it'll be there. There will be some at Ken's house, and there will be some sort of on the road as the consignment directors and Ken go on their various adventures, discovering things, picking things up, things like that.
One of the things that Ken has consistently been saying publicly is that his goal with all of his media appearances is to really grow the pie. And I think you just sort of corroborated that when you said I think it's going to be good for the hobby overall. And I think that's inevitable to happen, because you're going to with when Pawn Stars came out and American Pickers and Storage Wars and all these things, so many people got into looking for cool old signs and all sorts of different antiques. If this show catches on mainstream the way that did, and how will it not? Everybody loves sports. Well, most people love sports. So how is it not going to catch on, especially if the director and the production team, hits a home run with this, throws a touchdown, a slam dunk, we can scores a goal, whatever you want to say. I think it's exciting. I can't wait to see it.